House sitting seems like an easy gig on the surface. Watch someone's home while they're away, water some plants, maybe feed a pet, and collect a paycheck. It's the perfect side hustle, especially for college students or anyone looking to make some extra cash. But what happens when a seemingly innocent house-sitting job turns into a nightmare? Today, I'm going to share two terrifying true house-sitting horror stories that will make you think twice before accepting your next house-sitting opportunity. Before we dive in, it's worth considering why house-sitting can create such perfect conditions for terrifying encounters. When you're in someone else's home, you're in an unfamiliar environment. You don't know all the creaks and noises that are normal for that house. You might not know the neighbors or the neighborhood, and most importantly, you're often alone. This combination creates a perfect storm for both real dangers and psychological terror. Your mind can play tricks on you, but sometimes the danger is very real. Let's start with our first story. This account comes from a college student who was offered a house-sitting job through his father. His dad's coworker needed someone to watch his house for a few days, and specifically someone who could operate the home's extensive CCTV system. Since the student was majoring in computer science, his father naturally thought he'd be perfect for the job. The homeowner offered $200 for just 2 days of work, which seemed like a great deal to the student. All he had to do was monitor the house through the surveillance system that had cameras in nearly every room. The control center was in an upstairs room with multiple monitors displaying feeds from throughout the house. The homeowner seemed particularly concerned with having someone watch these monitors rather than roaming the house. On the first day, everything went smoothly. The student spent most of his time in the monitoring room, doing schoolwork on his laptop with the TV on in the background, occasionally glancing at the surveillance feeds. As night approached, he realized they hadn't discussed sleeping arrangements, so he started checking the camera feeds to find a suitable bedroom or couch. That's when he noticed something disturbing. The back screen door was open. He was certain it had been closed earlier. As he frantically scanned through each camera feed, he noticed a closet door in the living room was also open, another detail he was sure wasn't the case before. Alarmed, he texted his father to contact the homeowner and ask if he had returned. While waiting for a response, the student continued monitoring the feeds. To his horror, he saw a tall figure, appearing only as a dark shadow on the grainy night vision footage, step out from the closet. In his shock, the student accidentally knocked something heavy off the desk, creating a loud thud. On the monitor, he could see the intruder react to the noise, tilting their head toward the ceiling before slowly beginning to climb the stairs. The student's father texted back, confirming the homeowner was definitely not home, and asked why he was inquiring. Before he could respond, there was a knock at the door. Looking at the monitor, showing the hallway outside the room he was in, he could see the intruder standing there. The door had no lock. In a split-second decision, he chose to escape through the window, jumping into the bushes below and running halfway down the block before stopping to call his father. The homeowner was contacted and confirmed no one should be in the house. Police were called, and they reviewed the surveillance footage, which captured everything from the moment the intruder broke the glass of the back door to the student's desperate window escape and the intruder fleeing afterward. Despite having video evidence, the footage was too dark to identify the intruder's face, and they were never caught. This story highlights a critical danger of house sitting. You never know who might have information about when a house will be vacant. Burglars often target homes when the owners are away, and the presence of a house sitter might not always be a deterrent. Sometimes it might even put that person in danger. Let's move on to our second story, which is equally terrifying, but in a different way. This incident involved a college student who regularly worked as a babysitter and decided to take a house-sitting job to earn some extra money. After seeing an ad posted in the university library, they called the number and arranged to meet with the homeowner, a man named Chuck. The arrangement seemed straightforward. Watch the house for the weekend while Chuck and his wife were away. The student was given a spare bedroom in the large house and settled in for what they expected to be an uneventful weekend. Unlike the previous story, there were no pets to care for, which made the student wonder why the couple needed someone to watch their house. They reasoned that since it was a nice home, the owners probably just wanted the security of having someone there. After spending a quiet day in the house, the student went to bed, watching a movie on the TV in the guest room before turning it off to sleep. Just as they were drifting off, a clicking sound and sudden light jolted them awake. Opening their eyes, they saw light coming from under a closet door in the room, a closet they hadn't even noticed or opened before. Frozen with fear, the student lay still, pretending to be asleep while pulling the sheets up to their chin. They could hear the closet door opening, but didn't dare look as they were facing the opposite direction. The light clicked off, and the closet door quietly closed, but the room fell into an eerie silence. The student couldn't hear any movement, but feared that whoever had been in the closet might still be in the room. After what felt like an eternity, they decided to peek over to the other side to see if the coast was clear. When they turned over, they were horrified to find someone standing right next to the bed, reaching toward them. In a panic, the student pulled their arms up, backed against the wall, and then made a break for it, jumping over the footboard of the bed and running out of the room, down the stairs, and out of the house. They ran all the way home and immediately called Chuck to explain what happened, telling him it was his problem now before hanging up. Chuck tried calling back, but the student refused to answer. They didn't care about the money anymore. They just wanted nothing to do with the house or its owners ever again. What makes this story particularly disturbing is the lack of closure. Was this an intruder who had broken in? Was it someone the homeowners knew? Was there something sinister about the job offer to begin with? The student chose their safety over finding out, which was undoubtedly the right decision. The aftermath adds another layer of mystery. The next morning, the homeowners returned to find all the tires on their car, which had been left in the driveway, slashed. This suggests that someone who knew the family was away had targeted the house, possibly planning a break-in, but settling for vandalism when they found the house sitter present. These stories highlight some important safety considerations for anyone considering house sitting. First, always make sure someone knows where you are and when you're expected to check in. In the first story, having the father as a connection to the homeowner potentially saved the student's life by providing a quick way to verify if something was wrong. Second, familiarize yourself with the house's security features before the owners leave. Know how to lock all doors and windows properly, and understand how any security systems work. In the first story, the students' familiarity with the CCTV system allowed them to identify the danger before a direct confrontation occurred. Third, have an escape plan. In both stories, the house sitters managed to flee the premises when they felt threatened. Knowing the quickest routes out of an unfamiliar house could be crucial in an emergency. Fourth, trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. Both individuals in these stories sensed that something was wrong and acted accordingly rather than dismissing their concerns. Fifth, consider meeting the homeowners more than once before agreeing to house sit, and possibly even request references from previous house sitters. This can help establish trust and reduce the chances of walking into a dangerous situation. The psychology behind these terrifying experiences is fascinating. When we're in an unfamiliar environment, especially at night, our brains are on high alert for potential threats. This heightened state of awareness can sometimes cause us to misinterpret normal house sounds or shadows. However, in both of these cases, the threats were very real. It's also worth noting that houses that are normally occupied suddenly becoming vacant can attract unwanted attention. Neighbors might notice patterns changing, mail piling up, or lights being on at unusual times when a house sitter is present instead of the owners. This can signal to potential intruders that the regular residents are away. The prevalence of house-sitting horror stories has increased with the rise of apps and websites that connect homeowners with potential house sitters. While most house-sitting arrangements go smoothly, the anonymity of these platforms can sometimes create opportunities for those with malicious intent. Statistics show that residential burglaries are more common when houses are unoccupied, which is why many homeowners seek house sitters in the first place. However, this puts house sitters in a potentially vulnerable position. They're often young people, frequently women, alone in an unfamiliar environment, making them potential targets.